How are you?
How am I? I'm doing just fine, and welcome to a Sunday live chat, Josh.
Hi.
You've done it before,
I have.
and you become no stranger around these parts. As a matter of fact, what I can see is that Josh Holley is becoming kind of like a name everyone likes to drop to me.
Wow.
Yeah, so one tour, you're the a one tour, and people already know who Josh is, and that's important because I always thought you're bigger than life too.
Is that just because I'm fat? Is that a fat joke?
No, I do not mean that in any way, shape, or form. But you are huggable, and I really have enjoyed touring with you.
Yeah.
On this tour has been quite a blast. So where do we start? We got plenty of stuff that we want to talk about today. Um, Josh Holley, for those of you that don't know, is played in Let Into Gold on the tour. Fabulous job, Josh.
Thank you.
And it was like constantly being reminded that your bass sound has probably been discussed more than anything
Yeah.
throughout the course of this tour because I heard it almost demolish a couple of buildings.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the two things that the takeaways from the lead and the gold, like my part in that was almost every comment either involves the keytar or the amount of fillings lost because of the bass.
It was substantial. And were you aware that, well, I don't know if you were aware that that sine wave, I'm gathering, okay, we could talk about equipment. Like
Mhm.
when that one first bass sound drops, it's like, it's so huge
Yeah.
that, are you playing that all by hand? Or is that you got that sequenced?
So it depends on which part, but some stuff I'm doing live and some stuff is sequenced. But whoa. Is that the show that you were like, Josh? Oh wait, no, that's St. Pete.
Is there early on in the tour, St. Pete, Florida?
Yeah, I think that
And,
was the show. So there's a lot of nerves, a lot of, it's there's a lot going on, mentally. Often you kind of even you have imposter syndrome, like, fuck man, I shouldn't even be here, I suck, all that kind of stuff. St. Pete was the show that, like, kind of all that went away and I started having fun. And like, my goal was really to kind of try to break Paul, because Paul's a, Paul's kind of a, he's a Daniels. He's kind of a, he's a little straight and somewhat stuffy fella, and but he's really, he's kind of the opposite of that. And so my job often, I decided, self-imposed, was I was going to try and make him say fuck, like like just get him to break character. And the crowd really certainly responds to Paul, because Paul is such a fun dude. And uh to get him to break his little librarian persona was real fun, and I successfully did it a couple times.
I, I was surprised at how calm he always seems
Yeah.
on
So,
tour. You're alluding to that. I take it.
yeah, something that needs to be said out loud is, so this is the first tour this size I've ever done. And I am so lucky. I'm lucky for so many ways, but most the thing that I feel the most lucky about is the fact that, and I'm not joking, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass, that crew, there wasn't a dud there. Like, everybody from that crew, from your crew, our crew, I mean, our crew is only 3 people, but like, when you're in a van with two other people, and then you see the same, whatever, 11 people every day. There's, I've never heard of a tour going
Yeah,
that,
yeah, it was magical.
as far as that goes.
And
And there were a lot of challenges, a lot of hardships that presented itself during that tour, and everybody handled it so damn good. I can't even believe how, I'm so proud to be part of that. Honestly, I'll never forget as long as I live, which will probably be tomorrow.
no, I mean, it was a perfect marriage in a lot of ways that um, we could all gel so well together. I've never seen a crew where, as you said, there was nobody that was like, really didn't find their place, and everybody was just so kind and loving.
Yeah, kind is, and and just willing to just help, and I mean, as corny as it sounds, like, I mean, it was a team. It was just like, no matter what, dude. I remember Lauren, and she's like the highest, upper echelon of crew member. And she looked at me one time and she goes, "Josh, you look tired." And I'm like, I'm pretty beat. She goes, "You need coffee." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was just about ready to go on. And she got up and ran, full on run. I can't run. Uh, and she ran to make sure I was okay. And she got me a coffee right before I went on. It's like,
She did that several times for me too.
she has so many other things that she needs to be doing, but she just cared. And I'm just using that one example, but like every
No,
single
yeah,
person from that crew treated everybody with that sort of respect.
yeah. I have to say that she's absolutely golden. She was the tour
Everybody.
manager. Even our manager said that was probably the key to, you know, the reason why it was so good is because she just kept everybody.
So that's why Paul didn't sound so good. Is look at the neck of that bass. I was wondering why he didn't sound real great, and now I know. That thing is.
I
That thing
was
is
taking these experimental photographs each night
Oh yeah,
because
you took that. You took that picture.
in the dressing room, it was nice. They always had like the screen could show you what's on stage and you could hear it and everything. And so I got to watch you guys every night and hear you. And I
So,
could also take these cool photos of you guys.
so every night that we played, this is for the listening audience member, that one person listening. Uh, it was real surreal, because almost every time I got off stage, Kevin would be there and he would just be beaming, and he'd just be like, "Oh yeah," and he'd just say like, "I watched your whole set," or like, "Oh, it's so cool." And to hear that from you, and just like, it was like every day. Oh, and also, remember when I pulled you aside? I was like, you said something to me that like really kind of like messed me up. Remember that conversation?
Well, what did I say?
You said, you said we were in Ash. Well, no, we were in Kentucky, um, and at that show, and we were in the basement where that piano was, and you said to me, you said, "Are you sick of hearing? Uh, are you sick of hearing us?" or something like that.
Are you
And that
sick of hearing Skinny Puppy songs? Yeah.
I didn't say a word, because that hit me so hard, and like I didn't know how to respond to that, and I think it took me like a day or two to process it. And I came up to you and I was like, "Kevin, you said something that really kind of threw me off." like your band is so important to me, and has absolutely completely shaped my life. Like I would never, like, I don't think you realize how much I listen to your band. But I like it's every single time I got to hear a song that you guys performed, I felt like it was just a treat.
Oh, well, I mean, that's sweet. That just goes to show you this is the typical vibe we had on tour, where it's just pure love and kindness.
And I learned so much, like Kevin, like so whenever you see, I think for a listener, they go, well, I don't, what is Kevin, or what is Justin, like, what are they really doing, like, is this all sequenced or whatever, dude? You When I watched you play, because I've seen Skinny Puppy multiple times, but I never got to be intimate like that, to where, like, often I would stand behind you where Dre is and I'd watch you play, and dude, you're getting it. And I love, you have a style that I've learned that is unique to you when you play, and it's how you hold your hands and it's how you play. And I'll never forget watching it. But the thing that I was most surprised is Justin. So when I was in, I forget where we were, but I met some friends that I hadn't seen in a while, like 30 years. And they were up in the balcony. So I got to watch the show from the balcony, which I had never done before. And so I saw Justin drumming for the first time. And frankly speaking, I thought a lot of Puppy percussion is sequenced, and I'm sure that there's some element of that, but it is drastically less than what I thought, because Justin, and so then every time I saw or got the ability to see Justin drum or perform, I was just focused, because I just can't believe, like, what a guy, man. Holy shit, he's a machine.
He's a machine, and
Flawless.
and he's become, over the 20 years that he's been with the band. Well, the story goes is that when I first got told about Justin and through a friend, and had him come over and play, I think we picked a song like Hard Set Head was the first song he ever played.
Right.
And he started playing, and I actually literally had to, like, he was playing to the album.
Yeah.
And I literally had to turn down the tracks to see what he was playing, because he was so tight.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, he's playing the exact part.
So
and he's so tight that I couldn't, I was like, I don't even know how it's possible that this guy can be that tight.
I can't even program drums that tight.
Yeah, this is 20 years ago. One thing that I noticed about Justin is that it's so funny. About an hour before we'll start playing, Justin and I are usually together in a room, and Justin is working on his practice pads. And I don't know if you ever stop and listen to the things that he does on the practice pads, but they're I'll say exercises, drum exercises, but not your average drum exercises. He'll say, okay, first I'm going to play, and then he'll name what he's going to do, and then he'll play 4 variations of it, triplets,
yep,
like all these different variations, and you'll just be shaking your head going, wait, how can you be counting how many times each hand is hitting? Like, it'll be like 3, 2, 3, 5, 3. You'll be like, okay, now listen to it slowly.
I did.
He'll go up to a roll, and then he'll go, now this is what it sounds like in triplets. And he'll be like, you'll just be like,
yeah,
okay.
So I'm wrong. I did hear that him do that once, fairly early, and so he also, we all know each other to some degree. He was the one who him and Dustin, I didn't know well. I had seen them and said hi to him before over the years, but I didn't really know him. And holy shit, man, I'm so happy to know both those two, like having all you guys, but like, it's like meeting a new best friend that you're going to have forever. Like both those guys, I mean, all you guys, but I only point those two out because I hadn't really met them before.
Yeah.
But just everybody was just so exceptional.
I said to, Justin, in watching, like, it's not like he started off in a bad place. He started off exceptional, but now he's like, I was saying, Dan, you've got to be on Danny Carey level right now. Dude. So when Danny Carey showed up in Portland, I was almost like, come on, drum off.
So I didn't get to see Danny when he was here. Dude, Portland was kind of bummed me out because I mean, that it was so over capacity. And like, I tried 3 times to go out and see friends because, you know, that's my hometown show. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see a bunch of friends. I couldn't really see anybody. It was
Yeah,
absolute chaos.
it was chaotic. We even had to go send Lauren out as usual, looking to take care of people. She went out and found Danny Carey that was being rained on in the back of the line and being attacked by everybody. She went out and saved him, and that was amazing. You know that you know you got to come home and do like your Portland hometown show to such a kind of like a, well, it was a shame that it was kind of like oversold and like kind of
It
like
was crowded, and
crowded, radical, and
it was a great crowd, you know, like it was super high energy, super fun. And you know, I feel like I'm poo-pooing it, but I'm not really. I just, if that venue were slightly bigger, it would have been, I think, and people have a little breathing room, it would have been more fun. But the energy from that crowd was it was amazing.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, that gold suit that you have, pretty awesome. You want to tell the story about how you got a black eye every day?
I meant to black eye. Yeah. So, you know, Paul is pretty, you know, when I say I try to get him to break character, I really mean to, he really breaks character sometimes. So yeah, if I don't hit my mark, he hits me, and he hits me every day.
Oh, so that you're talking, there's a little violence, ultra violence going on.
Yeah, ultra violence.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because people, you know, what I started that joke. I didn't tell Paul I was going to do that. As most things in Lead to Gold, I like it to be a surprise, including him. And you know, I don't surprise Paul anymore. He just kind of looked at me and like laughed and shook his head. But it's the funniest part about this to me is how many people believed that was a real black eye, including some of my best friends who know Paul so well. And, you know, people who don't know Paul is like the kindest, like, he is like the sweetest human being ever. And he's the least likely human being ever to hit. I mean, can you imagine Paul hitting somebody?
No, I can't.
I cannot. There's no
I can't
way.
even honestly imagine him hanging out with Al Jorgensen. I just wondered how that ever worked out.
Yeah, I'm sure swimmingly. So I tell people, so you and I, you know, so we used to talk basically, you know, every other day or something like that. And right before tour, we talked drastically less because we were so underwater. And, you know, you and I really haven't talked since then. But so before we left, I think for a solid month, I was working 7 days a week, about 15 hours a day. And Paul and I, when we were in the rehearsal part of my days, often he and I weren't together. We would be rehearsing separately for one reason or the other. And then when we got together, I think was just maybe the last week, in stress was so high. And here's how I describe how stressful that situation was. I've known Paul for about 18 years. He has lost his shit on me 5 times. And 3 of the times were that the week.
Okay, that may explain the black eye then.
I've lost my shit on him a couple times too. But like, he's the kind of person, we have the kind of friendship to where we understand, and you know, we immediately go to like, there isn't a reaction. If he loses his shit on me, I'm not going to be a lot. I'll just sit there and I'll listen. And then, you know, once we cool down, which will be 30 minutes later, he or I will work it out. And there's a really great respect between he and I. And that's why it's so funny to have the black eye.
Yeah, no, it's kind of emphasizing like something that is like, yeah, it would never happen.
No, it would never in 100 years. But it's so funny that the people like, so we did a warm-up show at the local goth club, and that's when I unveiled the black eye. And one of my closest friends, Rico, hopefully Rico's listening, he was just like, oh shit. like come on, Rico. And so throughout the entire tour, like, a lot of people realized it was a joke, but a lot of people didn't. And so that was the funny part to me.
That was awesome. I remember that we sent this to a couple of friends, this little clip here, and it was like, this is kind of a good indicator of what we do before we go on.
Dude, I love that.
We dance.
And fucking Dre, look at Dre. Dre is he's like, he has a whole dance routine that we're unaware of, that like maybe he's done this a little too often. Like maybe that's what he does every night, because he has, if you watch just Dre, he has an entire synchronized routine to that song, Enola Gay.
Well, if we start new wave dancing, it's all over.
Yeah.
I think
that was so much fun. What town was that?
Well, that was in Toronto.
Is that Toronto? Oh, yeah. Right. That's right.
I can remember because something about being in Canada and new wave dancing. It just, it's intrinsic with each other. But by that time, we were having so much fun. The backstage. By the way, Josh, I lost 12 pounds on the tour. I don't know about if you weighed yourself before.
I think about this. I think I'm so pissed at myself because I believe it was the first day of tour. You were sitting, this is the first time I saw you, and you said something like,
weigh yourself
before. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, duh, forehead slapper. But like, I guarantee you, I may have canceled out because, lugging gear, like I guarantee I gained a bunch of muscle, but I lost a bunch of fat. So I'm probably the same physical weight, but just svelte, sizzled much like Fabio.
I have to hand it to you. You guys, I think it was 25,000 miles, the trip. And you guys did that the way more challenging way, where you guys are driving. Was it just you and Justin and Paul, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we got a Sprinter, and yep, there she is in Portland. That must have been us leaving, but we so as you know, Kevin, I wake up really early, and like that is my time to shine. Like between the hours of like 5 a.m. and 10, I'm essentially SpongeBob, and I'm super hyper. I'm really annoying, and so every morning I would do the first leg, which was often the longest, and Justin inevitably would be asleep in the back of the Sprinter in the third row, and Paul would be kind of my co-pilot. Depending on how long our drive was, he would take second leg if it was more than 4 hours. And Kevin, there were a couple times where I look at the schedule and I'm like, there is no way we're going to make it, because our Lead in the Gold's load in was at 2 every day. And so I'm doing some math and I'm like, there is no way we're going to make it. And 100% of the time we rolled in right at 2. In some of those really challenging drives. So the Sprinter, which we named the Behemoth, she purrs like a kitten but handles like a water buffalo, was governed at 82 miles per hour.
Wow.
So I hear.
Wow. So that puts a limit when you're driving through like a straight road that goes for 100 miles, and you're just sitting there with like, okay, you
It
can put a
sounds,
click
it
on
feels like
the.
you're standing still because as far as you can see, either direction is a straight line
Yeah.
of road and no cars.
But
Like why?
you did it. You did it. And so the thing is that, congratulations. Like,
Like,
you drove the entire circumference of this continent.
yeah,
And people got to understand that that came with you seeing them every night. Is that they also did the physical loading, gathering. Like, you guys had no crew. You did all yourself.
yeah.
You know, it was super admirable, I have to say.
It was down dirty. And again, that's a um that's a powerful statement about the crew that we had, because I think if anybody else would have been, if you swapped one person out for another one, yeah, that crew is the best. If you swapped one person out, it wouldn't have been that way.
Yeah,
Like Justin or Paul was somebody else,
yeah.
and we would have been on the side of the road in fucking Iowa, just beating the shit out of each other.
So Justin was your assistant.
He was our
Video?
tour manager. Yeah. And so what that means for a crew of three is basically like it's a little bit of everything. He did such an amazing job. Like I've known him for a long time, and now, I have so much respect for that dude. He killed it. Like um he had to do some muscle flexing a couple times. He had to, he's a driver. He took care of everything that we didn't. And, he was, even loading gear every day. It's like that guy, I think using the term tour manager is really not accurate. I think he was just, I guess we all had 1,000 roles. I don't know. I think we were all basically just the same. Some people played instruments and some people didn't.
Was he set up the screens and did all the projection and stuff? Who prepared the images that you were projecting?
So that is our friend Tristan. Hey Tristan, if you're listening. So that dude is a badass. And he does a lot of visuals. Did you ever see Lead and the Gold did a tour that I got bumped from, believe it or not. Anyway. And he had this LED wall behind him.
Yeah.
That's Tristan's. He owns that. But he did that video art for Paul, and we had this thing called an Andor, that's made by a local company here, LZX, and
Right.
And it is essentially like a synchronized playback and MIDI controllable. So I took one of the channels of the MPCX and we just fired off video.
That's excellent. I was kind of surprised at how, like, you had a really nice simplistic setup, and it seemed for the better part to operate fairly reliably.
Yeah.
I know that you ran into, one.
There were two shows that we and they were back to back, and it's something. So the only thing I can think of, so the poor MPCX, it's completely maxed where I couldn't even add another even MIDI
Wow.
track to it. It was 100%. So I believe so okay. So how it loads, the project loads is, start to finish, but it's not track 1, track 2, track 3. It's, if I did an edit of an instrument, say it's song 3, if I did an edit on an instrument and that was the last thing I did, that's the last thing I load. So it loads out of order. And so the song is She Lies. It's the 3rd track that we do. And that's one of the songs that we do in sound check. And the thing that drove me nuts is, so we would do sound check and the MPC is left on. And we went to go do the show. Nobody's touched the MPC, and we've done this 20 times before. That's the largest crowd we played for, Dre. So one time I hit, because you just next and it fires off the next sequence. Well, there was nothing there. It showed it was playing, but there was no audio. So I'm like, oh shit. So we just kind of punted and went to the next. Stupidly, we should have thought about the what ifs of that happening. And now we have a protocol for if and when that ever happens again, how to seamlessly redo this, which is essentially 41.7 seconds of a reload. So Paul just will tell a joke, which will take 41 minutes to tell. I'm sorry, seconds, not minutes. And then it will.
41 seconds is a hell of a long time in front of
when you're on stage, dude.
It is eternity. Oh, he's gonna go hit it for us.
No,
you're gonna show us.
You see what that is?
Barrage.
Playing these things live.
Oh my God.
It's a 30-second load.
Yeah.
When 30 seconds is like, that's not a big deal. That's like a microwavable burrito. But 30 seconds on stage, that is about a month and a half.
Yeah.
So
painful.
And so the second time, what happened was, and I was so mad about this one. So I'm playing two parts. There's this low end, which is one of the subs you were talking about. And then there's an organ sample. And so, the song plays, I'm doing my low end, and I go to hit the organ sample, and it wasn't there. And so I noticed when I watched the program load, that's the last sample, because that was at the last minute, I changed from a Mellotron sample that I made to I just sampled within the MPCX the actual sound that Paul used on the record. And so it's like I was taxing the memory of that MPC so much that it was just fluctuating between I'm okay and I'm not okay.
Yeah, that's what I would be worried about, is that when you've got such a little amount of memory left, that it could say, okay, yeah, I don't like this one sample that one day, but the next day it's going to load it up and be just fine.
So you'll notice that guy's a different color now.
Yeah, well, how come?
Because so Akai just released a special edition, and it has twice the memory.
Oh.
And so, I don't need a new MPC. It does everything I need to do except for memory. You can't expand the memory, which is completely stupid in the year 2023, that you can't just or do disk streaming like an Octatrack. So I got a SE version just so I didn't have to worry about this. And I've ran it through its paces several times. And I sent Paul a picture so I loaded our Lead and the Gold set, and it is, so you can hit a button, as you have an MPC, and it tells you how much memory that you're using. 50%.
Wow, that's much better.
Yeah.
But you got it at the end of the tour, unfortunately.
I got it right after I got home.
Oh, that's just perfect.
Yeah, no, it's great.
That resolved everything.
Yeah. So,
well, what I'm hoping is, of course, that there'll be more Lead into Gold Skinny Puppy events to test it out with.
So that's that I'll tell one more story, and it also involves Lauren. So Seattle, it's so funny. Like, I don't know, you see that, with the end of the tour, but when it's the end of the tour, it hits you so much different. And so for 7 or 6 weeks or whatever, every show I would say, love you, bye, I'll see you in name the next, see you in Des Moines, see you in wherever. and everybody be like, oh yeah, yeah, and like hug, and there's so much love within this crew. And the first person at Seattle, I saw Matthew, and I went to give him a hug like I always do, and I was like, I didn't know what to say, and I kind of choked up, and he kind of choked up, and like we didn't know what, and so it was just like this awkward hug, and I love you, and we didn't know what to say, and to which I just kind of was like, well, I hope we get to do this again. And then I went to go give Lauren a hug, and she refused. She's like, no, I don't want to say bye. No.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I
Nobody's
grabbed
ready to say goodbye yet. They're all, everyone's like, thinking about like that this has to continue. So
yeah. So
this crew feels
that's
that
what
way.
I told her also, is like, this isn't goodbye. This is see you later. And whether that happens or not, I don't know, but I hope to always see every person. Dude, Diego, man, he's like the unsung hero of the crew. That dude is the hardest working human being I've ever met.
I can say that about everybody, though. I mean, literally, everybody shocked me. Like, the amount of work that Caitlin did, or the amount of work that Dustin did, or the amount of work, here's Diego here, or Aaron, like the amount of work that Aaron took upon himself as the front of house engineer, I couldn't believe.
Dude,
I mean,
and every show,
incredible.
fantastic. Visually, sonically, and it's those two, man. They, yeah.
Dre killed it.
Dre.
Big up Dre in the chat window here. Of course, Justin's still on tour with Thrill Kill Cult. I mean, imagine how difficult that had to be to switch tours like on the same day.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
it. Especially after 5 weeks and then have to go. Now he has to do like a harder tour. It's a tougher tour than the one he was just on, in the sense of traveling conditions, no bus.
Sprinter. Is he a sprinter?
Big up to Justin.
They had to cancel their show last week.
What's that?
They had to cancel their show last week.
Oh yeah, the Thrill Kill Cult had to cancel their first show in 39 years last night. I guess, but was it Buzz or one of the guys got sepsis
Frankie.
in his hand?
Frankie.
Oh, Frankie. So I had to rush to the hospital and get treatment. Yeah.
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 Well, hope everybody gets on a bunch of antibiotics and everybody's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay. But God, just the endless story of the touring woes and things that happen on the road. Did you get injured on the road at all?
Just my insides.
Your insides?
My heart, from getting hit so much.
But you didn't pull your back, or you didn't like hurt your hand, or
no, the only thing was like just being kind of out of shape, like COVID. Like for being a large mammal, I'm used to be fairly active. I'd cycle like 30 miles a day, and then whatever, just the world went to shit, and your mental state is so bad you don't even want to stand upright. So as a result, like lugging that keytar anvil case, like the first probably week and a half, I was basically could have been sponsored by ibuprofen, in tears. It was really nice when I started feeling good, like stronger. But that first week and a half was like I could barely walk by the end of night, that kind of thing. Oh, look at that focus.
Look at that. The Lord of the sub. So let's talk about that sub bass. That's a Pro 2 you're rocking up there, and I gather that's a giant sine wave.
There are 3 basses, one of which is Pro, one of which is MPC, which I told Dre I'll give him my thing. But the other one, which is a sample, is the Manther.
Really?
And I didn't know that because I was just pulling samples, and I didn't know until about halfway through the tour that one of those monster subs is a Manther.
That's crazy.
I'm almost embarrassed to say that.
I mean, I know that when you're doing rehearsals and stuff like that, you know, you can tell that that's going to be a killer sound. But did you have any idea how large that sound was going to be on those big systems?
So we have a pretty good PA here in this room, and when I was tuning the two sounds that are from me, when I was and so I don't know about your sound design, but when I make a sound from scratch, no matter how sort of basic or whatever, there's at least 10 iterations. And sometimes, you know, over the course of days, because I'll listen to it and I have to listen to it with fresh ears, this kind of stuff. And then when you think you're done and then you hear it in the context, it's like, oh no, it's too like raspy or too whatever. I tuned the two bass sounds that I used, and I really liked them in the PA here. But I do remember when in San Antonio during sound check, and I was just itching to hit one of those low notes with no in-ears in and just kind of feel it. And no, there's nothing like when you're hearing it in something like that. So the first New York show, we had a bunch of friends come visit us, and they took a video of one of my shoes on a table during sound check. And there's a video of it, like, and you could hear them like egging it on because it was vibrating and eventually fell off the table.
Oh yeah, well, that surprised me a bit. You know, really, it was just I went into, well, because it was funny that in New York in Irving Plaza they don't have a bathroom in every dressing room, and you guys happen to have the dressing room that had the bathroom.
We had a
So,
show.
yeah, I went in there, and it was like the walls were being demolished.
Right.
There was like tiles on the walls, and I was thinking, this continues. There's no way these tiles are going to be existing on these walls at the end of this set.
All right, enough about
So,
lead and gold. Let's talk about the puppy set.
Well, no, I don't think there could. Are you telling me that there was bass like what you guys had?
Dude, that set, and it's funny because you got a little, like, I don't know, puffy at me or something, because I asked you, and again, you're one of my like closest friends. Like, I've known you for a long time. We talk about everything. Like, there's nothing between you and I that's like a secret. And I asked you, and I felt comfortable asking. It's like, hey, what's again? And I'm playing with you on stage. I asked you like a month before we left. I was like, hey, what's the set? And you got all snippy, and you're like, I can't tell you, Josh. You're like super curt. And I was like, Kevin, like, I've never seen that side. Like, but like, so I was, of course, as a fan, like, I was real curious to hear the set. And whenever I did, I think you guys did such a good job of spanning your discography. And there's some kind of deep cuts in there that I was real psyched. Of course, opening up with VS Gas Attack is like, that makes every piece of hair on my body stand up, like, because it's like the most amazing live song. But you guys, I mean, come on, you guys, every damn show, I just was absolutely fucking in awe at the performance, the amount of energy like you all put into that. And sonically, yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
It was so amazing. Each and every show was top notch.
This was exciting here in the sense that you got your keytar hooked up to Matthew's modular.
Yeah.
Now, what I was almost thinking, well, gee, this is leading to something. What would you do? Would you stand backstage and fuck with his modular while he was playing during the set?
No, I wanted to run a little experiment about you know, whatever, if there was ever a I don't know, a reason for a keytar to be on stage with Skinny Puppy. How would that go down? And
Right.
so,
And you guys got it sussed out.
yeah, we got sussed out
Yeah.
two ways. One, we could pull samples. So I started using, I bought this WIDI device. So it's a Bluetooth MIDI interface. And so I got it right before we left. So I don't really know a lot of its capabilities, but now I sort of do. And it's a really handy tool. I guess Dre has one as well. But really useful. And for like having a keytar and a modular that's MIDI controllable is completely ridiculous.
Pretty classic.
Yeah, I wanna piece together a little Euro rig and hook that up. If we ever play again together,
Then we'll have to activate that.
Yeah. Poltergeist though. It'll be three keytars and three modular rigs.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. The name of our new band together.
Yeah.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, love it. Oh, the dog loved it.
The dog loves it. Hey, Rihanna, the dog loves it. Yeah, no, I'm getting asked so many times about, well, what's next, and you know, there's definitely going to be some more dates. As I keep saying to people, in California, like obviously San Francisco, LA, probably obviously Chicago, probably make up the show in Pittsburgh, and I think that there's an idea for some more other than that. But God, I'd love to have you along again.
Part of it.
I think that would be appropriate, especially if people you know, want to see like the fun that we were having on the last tour again. I think that would be something to do.
Well, so another, not to interrupt you, Kevin, but another thing too is so we have that under our belt and we've learned a lot. And so now, if let's just pretend for a second that there is a second leg, like we could, like, you know, there's no nerd, like all the shit's gone, our sets are sussed out. Now we can like plan on another thing of having fun. So
Deeper levels.
Be each other's backup dancers. I can try to get you to break character instead of Paul.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I mean, I think everybody will look forward to the shows no matter what, in the way that, you know, it's not like you're starting from the beginning. It's like you are starting from a really good place you're leaving off. So that's going to be damn cool. So I was just wondering if, so you got the MPC X replaced with the MPC, what's it called? SE?
Yeah, it's the MPC X Special Edition.
Okay.
And
it's white though. It's a bit of a drag, isn't it?
Yeah. So so I hate to be this vain. I was thinking about, because, you know, they have those overlays, those companies make overlays.
Oh, right, yeah.
I was thinking about just making a pink one.
Yeah. Oh, you should.
Yeah.
You should own it.
Yeah.
Own that pink for sure.
I feel like that's a little vain and almost a waste of $100 to do, but
no, that's worth every cent. I think so.
Yeah.
Lots of people on the side here saying, Josh, you were stunned with the opening, your organ and everything and all that shit. Thanks guys. The bass was so mighty. The Manther is truly great. All this stuff. Yeah, you should know that Josh and Paul basically also run Maleko and Heavy Industry. And there's a ton of killer stuff that you guys do that we haven't even touched. We barely even touch upon because we're so busy talking about Lead into Gold and everything else you guys do. And it's also important to point out that you and I are also collaborating on the making of BRAP.
Yeah.
There's also a place called Dark Place Manufacturing up there with Josh and Paul and up there. And so we're anxiously awaiting that stage here. So there's so much collaborative going on. Of course, we're talking about Poltergeist and all this stuff too. So many exciting things to come.
So a person just wrote me yesterday about the SY and using a manther with it. And I really, because I always think about modular and just like, oh, well, a variegate 4 would pair really nicely with that. But then that really just kind of like blew my mind. That would be an exceptional pair to sequence motion record elements of the SY.
Wow, I never thought about that.
I almost feel so stupid that you know that I didn't think of that. So I'm going to claim it as my idea now. And Fletcher, that's my idea now. Yeah, that's a great segue to talk about what's going on with your module.
Yeah. So we have everything that we need to build the module, and the least likely thing, the printed circuit boards, the PCB, it's not something that's usually a problem for anybody. It's like the last worry in the line. And then somehow this time we got thrown a wrench by a company that kept us waiting for what, a month and a half?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah. Kept on stringing us along about this until you finally had to fire them.
So here, you know, the situation with vendors, US, overseas, whatever, you know, since COVID, yes, everything's changed. Like my circuit board vendors that I've used for, you know, the past close to 20 years, they are the ones that you don't even think about, because they, like, deadlines are just not even an issue. They never are. It's all the other pieces of the puzzle that you really have to worry about.
Yeah.
And since COVID, and so many places are closing down, I've had to change vendors because old ones are gone, and because they can't keep employees, or they couldn't make it through the shutting down or whatever. And you know, times are really tough, and so I have to be understanding that, because I'm also in that situation. You know, we went from a crew of almost 20 people to like 6, and like, so I get it, but
it's tough times. But
there's a point where I feel like I'm too lenient, and so as Kevin was mentioning, like, so all of the hard things and all the things that I've been worried about are, you know, sitting in the dock here, but circuit boards being the, you know, one of the last pieces of the puzzle, if not the last piece of the puzzle, are several months late. I was expecting to have them ran before we left, and so while we were gone, the original plan was to have people build, my crew build them after I had ran them. But you know, another week passes, we don't have circuit boards. Another week passes, another month passes, and finally I just, you know, kind of lost my shit about halfway through the tour, and I just kept on be like, you know, also this is I'm personally stretched pretty thin, but you know, when I had a second to really kind of think about what's going on, I was just like, look, man, my client's pissed, I'm pissed, because, you know, this specific vendor, not only just your project is affected, but I have 2 other projects, one being a Moleco project. Not having these boards is absolutely financially devastating for me right now. Right now is about as lean as we've ever been because of this. And so I thankfully they were responsive to me. So every day I would write them, and finally I just fired them. And so I am starting I'm a watch dork, and I'm starting a watch company sometime towards the end of this year. It's something I've been working on for about 5 years. And I wanted to get a glass PCB made. And so I looked around and I reached out to a bunch of board houses to get a 0.7 millimeter thick glass circuit board made. And so I've contacted a whole bunch. they have been just begging for my business. And so, and I, this is for the viewing audience, Kevin already knows this. So I decided before I fired my previous circuit board vendor, I was going to use that to my advantage. And it's not necessarily the cost of the circuit boards, it's how quickly can you get these boards to me.
Yeah, right.
And that is my, my concern. And so I talked to 3 people, pitched them sort of against each other. And I should have boards in 10 days from Monday.
Okay, so then at that point, then you'll have everything that you need to run BRAPs. And this is how the parts come, everybody. They're on reels like this.
Yeah.
And the reels get...
Yeah, you can see like each little speck on one of those reels is a part. So there are like millions of parts. But did you should so the face plates are...
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you've got the face plates here. This is going to be, you've seen the color.
Okay.
And then you have also sent me this brand new update.
So I started, I found a guy, Jack is his name, that does UV printing locally, and talked to him and dropped off a few faceplates to get test prints done, because I wanted, there's a lot of factors. One, is it going to stick? 2, does it look good? Do you want it glossy? Do you want it matte? Do you have to put a sealer on it? Like, there's a lot of factors in this. And so we did a couple test prints on black, because that's the one I have the most of. And really, Kevin, you are going to lose your shit when you see these in real life.
They look good.
Dude, they look, you can't photograph it right, because they look. And so that the ones that I had made a few years ago,
right?
So I brought one as an example, just to kind of show them, like, this is what the end result should look. And the dude looked at it and kind of snarled at me. And so if you look at around the slider hole, you'll see a bunch of little dots that create a ring around it. Well, the example that I gave him was offset by, I don't know, 1/4 of a millimeter. And he's like, do you want it like this? And I'm like, oh yeah, yes. There's a ring around that. He goes, no, like offset like this. I'm like, oh no, that's just the way it was printed. He just like snarled. He's like, my tolerance is much tighter than that, or something like this. And like, he really just like I don't know, poo-pooed the ones that I had made before.
Well, that's good. So what you're saying is you're really reaching a higher level.
Much higher level. He almost made me feel bad about the ones I had made previously. But all of those are getting printed early next week. So I will have him send videos of each color getting made for people to see. Yeah.
So does that mean that, like, what, within 3 weeks from now, we could be seeing people like seeing this box arrive?
Well, 3 weeks might be a little much. There's a lot involved in manufacturing these, but we're in the home stretch.
We're in the home stretch.
Yeah.
And then once we're at that point, then we can then probably offer the next batch up for the people that are waiting.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this, projects are front loaded. There's so much work, engineering, and then, the scheduling, etc., the creation, and then it's a waterfall. Once the first one rolls off the QC line and into packaging, then there's going to be a waterfall. But to get to that spot, we still have a bit to go, but we are absolutely in the home stretch.
It's exciting, and I was a little worried of, I could kind of tell that PCB company was just not,
it makes me so mad
doing their job. I mean,
I
By
had
the
to take
way,
responsibility
so
too.
fast, these units that we had to make sure that like the last thing in the line, the PCB was not going to be an issue, and then it turns out to be the issue. It's
Right.
like so typical.
Well, I have to take responsibility too, because I could have been a lot more diligent about harassing them. I typically don't harass vendors, but there's a point where I do, and I think I should have probably stepped in a little bit sooner and switched gears a little bit sooner. So I take that responsibility. But
Look at that, Josh. My story from 3 years ago, we were already talking about the production, and so you were saying it's just so true that in the world today, that unless you're making a cowbell, basically you're screwed.
actually, I'll bet you making a cowbell, there is probably so much more involved than you might think about making it to where it's a specific pitch would probably
Yeah, no.
so much probably involved.
Something just right. Something has to be right about it.
Right.
Something
Or
that's
wrong.
wait, it doesn't have the right cow sound.
It doesn't ring for 4 seconds.
But I can't wait for you guys to get your units. And as I say, I have tested the case that we were suggesting, which is
Which case?
RMS case.
Which what?
This one.
Okay, which how wide is it?
This is 30 HP, and the BRAP itself is 38 HP. I threw in a 2 HP reverb, and it's fun. And great case, works perfectly. It's small and compact, and really was nice in my rack. I noticed that
I like those cases
here inside my rack live. Which got very exciting. Actually, it lasted throughout the tour, no problem. As you know, Josh, you helped me with the SY. It broke down twice, the original. And those things are so finicky, man. It's like, so it eventually got to the point where, this unit here was being hand carried to and from the tour bus every night, like to its own bunk.
Wow.
Josh, even you didn't have a bunk, but it had a bunk.
The keytar and the SY have its own bunk.
What can we say about that shit?
Hilarious.
It got special treatment.
Yeah.
Some things, we realized that, like when I had the SY1 go down for a show, it was like something is just so missing that it's almost can't do that.
That was Florida, right?
What's that?
That was Florida, right?
Where?
When the SY went
yeah.
down.
So the first one went down, we pulled up the second one, and then it was messed up as well. And then you managed to fix it with a hair tie.
Yes. I can't believe that actually worked for the entire tour.
For the rest of the tour.
And this will be on
tie.
This is the actual hair tie used. And
yeah, no, it was the solution. And people were like, well, what do you mean? Well, so one of the cables on the output had to be sort of like bent a little, had to pull it to the side. So you had a hair tie around it and around the trigger cable. So it was like stretching it over. So it was like bending over a bit. And that was the solution.
It was hilarious. So like troubleshooting that and like, okay, all right. So you and I were like pulling the cable out. And so like we tried to find this little magic spot where it would work. And finally I realized it was, so I looked at how the jacks are constructed. And so the jack's just worn out because it's, older than you and I combined. And then I was like, oh, so if I put pressure this way, it'll actually make a connection.
Yeah.
But, you should mail that to me or something, and I'll put new jacks in it.
Now that we've got some time and we'd have no fear, my fear was that we would go and change the jack and it would be just as bad or something, and I'd be like, oh wait, now the hair tie doesn't work. No,
it just needs new jack. Those jacks are board mount. They're really old. They weren't really super high quality to begin with because that's just the way people manufactured stuff. Or if you have a local guy, it's no big deal. And they don't have to be the same jack. You just wire in new jacks because it'll secure to the faceplate.
Josh, are you wearing the pink shorts today? Asked Roy.
Yeah, so I am wildly immature and I hate shopping. So once a year, I pick what I call my Superman uniform, and I buy 7 pairs of the same thing annually. Because I genuinely hate shopping.
Yeah.
I also people that know me, I haven't worn long pants in over 20 years.
Yeah, now you can't. When you wear long pants now, doesn't it just feel just totally fucked up?
I don't understand how you guys do this. So
yeah, I'm the same.
The first thing I did when I got off stage is I would go and get back to short pants.
Oh yeah, because you had the long gold pants. Yeah.
I had long. That's the first time, and dude, Paul has never seen me in long pants. Like people have never seen me wear pants that go past my knees. So yeah.
Thanks, Roy. Parmesium, several of us in one of the previous chats discussed forming a Discord or Facebook thread for the BRAP. Yes, let's do that. Anybody want to be the moderator and take that on? I will support it. Let me know. Sean, Josh, you're such a wonderful human. Got to talk with you at length at the Pittsburgh gig. Will he have his black eye? It seems to have gone away. Says some good vitamins.
Thanks, Sean. The check's in the mail for that statement.
Christopher, a left-handed cigarette in Josh's hand should be a good chat. Is that inside joke there?
I don't know.
Joey Galvin, no question here, just a statement. Wanted to reiterate how great it was to see both you guys on opening night on this epic tour. Our love for Skinny Puppy is what made Josh and I become friends way back when, as a shy 16-year-old working at Waterloo Records in Austin. It was so awesome to see 2 of my favorite people in the same place I haven't seen in years. Yeah. How much fun was it for us to tour together?
Joey's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Thanks, Joey. Hugh Morgan, so boldly BRAP, where no one has gone before. Let's do it. Lyndon, my case has a sad hole. It's ready to be filled by a bright pink BRAP. Well, Josh is gonna bring pink one.
Awesome that you're getting a pink one.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I talked to you I talked to you in Portland. And you were the only other pink one that that somebody got that I was aware.
There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of pink ones, I remember, was there?
No, there aren't. I got equal amounts faceplates, so there'll be spares if other people.
So someone could purchase a colored faceplate later if they have the black one and want to change it?
Well, that'll be yes. But I don't know yet. So I ordered an equal amount of faceplates of each color, and so let's just say that 2 pink ones sold. Well, there's 10 left. They can either not ever get used or
excellent,
or whatever.
Maybe we should give people the opportunity on the next 200 sale to quickly grab whatever components you have in colors and make that a limited thing that people could have.
Darling, that's up to you. I'm just going to make.
We'll do that. Justin, Jason, Josh was a great surprise and powerhouse on the stage. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That gold suit and that bass, the lead and the gold bass parts were transcendental and visceral. I would love to hear him discuss how he achieved the deep bass rhythm. The album doesn't seem to feature the bass so prominently. Was that aspect created specifically for the live performance? If so, who is responsible for composing it?
So the bass, they're not. The bass parts were made by me, with exception of one, which is a sample. But the sample is so. If there's some bass parts that sound just like the record because it is just pulled from Paul's sample library. But I initially wanted to recreate every part that I'm doing live with a sound that I make, because I'm a synth dork, and it's just kind of, that's just been, are you this way, Kevin? To where, like, well, of course, probably you, like, if you're, well, have you ever played anybody else's music?
With what?
Have you ever played anybody else's music live?
Well, of course, I was in a cover band when I first started out in music.
But were you were playing drums though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about synths though? Have you ever?
Oh, no.
So I wanted to basically, it's just like it's a mental thing. Like, well, if I'm going to play this part, I'm going to make this sound. So I'm going to do the best job I can to replicate the sound that I'm hearing, because much like wearing the same outfit for an entire year, I also am immature about, like, if I'm playing a sound, I want to make it. And even though I could pull something and make my life drastically easier, it's just I'm wildly immature. And so those bass parts, as I mentioned, so it was it was a ton of fine tuning. And then, like, so whenever you get it like that, just like that sound that you want, and the modulation is right, and it's just kind of like not too much, but it's just like kind of just making your hair flap from the speaker vibrating. That's a really satisfying
Yeah. It was the right choice you made on that synth too, because even I was asking you, what in God's name is that? And so, yeah, you credit these sounds to the Pro 2, right?
well, one is Pro 2, one is I
Simple.
use tube synth in the MPCX. I did a patch on that.
Yeah.
But the real ballsy one, and then there's a Manther sample that's ridiculously bass heavy. But the Pro 2, man, that thing is, people, I just think we're really quick to dismiss it. But I've used the Pro 2 on I mean, mine's beat to shit. I've used it a ton. And if I actually I don't know if I told you this story. So I bought a Moog one. I bought a 16 voice Moog one, and I used to have a memory Moog, and I love that those things are super ballsy. I wanted the one to be this, and so I got this thing, and then I had my Pro 2 above it on the keyboard stand. And you know, when you get a synth like that, you want to devote some time to it. So I only played that synth for about a month, just that synth and no other synth. And then I, kind of like learned its architecture, and like I got its sound, in my ear to where it was familiar. And although they're nothing alike, about a month later, I just hit a note on the Pro 2, and just sonically, it's just so much like oomph. I sold the Moog one
Good.
almost instantly.
Sorry, Moog.
And I know, it's like, I don't understand. Like, on paper, it's such a gorgeous synth, and I think they did so many things right, and
Yeah.
so many things are forward thinking, and like it is a joy in a lot of ways to program, but just sonically, it's just missing something.
Well, it's a sine wave. It's missing a nice sine wave, and they'll say, "Well, filter down a triangle, get your sine wave." I'm like, no, it doesn't sound the same.
It's lacking a lot of just
The warmth.
just like balls, and
Balls.
it sounded, maybe they could address this, but it sounded sterile a bit. And I hate to use them, and there's a place for that in a mix, but I wanted a modern memory Moog, and that is not a modern memory Moog.
Right? No, definitely not. I think you made the wise choice with the Pro 2, because I heard the end results, and it was fucking awesome.
It's
As
funny.
Andrew has pointed out here, Let Into Gold was awesome. Andrew, we've just been discussing his setup. The Pro 2 and the MPC-X was essentially it. You were controlling the MPC-X with the CV guitar, right?
Yes, the old keytar. Yeah. So opening band, we have to have a small footprint, especially with band Skinny Puppy, if you've ever heard of them. They are kind of stage hogs in the fact that they're going to take almost every square inch of the stage and utilize it to the best of everybody's ability. But as an opening band, for Skinny Puppy, that it's we realized really early on we are going to have a very small footprint. So when we were talking about what we're going to bring, it was like, okay, bang for the buck. And you know, Pro 2 I use a lot. I've played it live a lot, also with the MPCX. So it was sort of I tried some other things. I was going to use an ESQ and ultimately didn't, because I didn't need it. So it was just going to be those two instruments. And then Paul said, well, the opening song is an instrumental. Paul wanted to play this piano part. And I had a synth part in it. And he goes, well, we're going to have to bring a controller. And I was like, huh, I've got a controller. And I went and grabbed the keytar that's literally been hanging on my wall for almost 20 years.
Right.
I bring it out. I'm like, I've got a controller. And then I was going to give it to Paul to play. And then I was like, fuck you, I'm playing the keytar. So you know, again, Paul, being the stick in the mud he is, doesn't find humor in anything really, especially me. But towards the end of the tour, it's so funny because like he almost won't admit that it's awesome. So after the tour, he was like, well, if we play, wait, let me get my Paul voice. Well, if we play again, you should get multiple keytars and have like a set change or like a like, all right, Paul. So like he went from like kind of poo-pooing it to like now he's encouraging like, multiple keytars.
I thought like what was nice about Paul also plays bass, and the tone between your synth stuff didn't walk on his tone and vice versa. So it was again a good choice for that as well. Sounded really, really nice with the acoustic and synth bass coming back and forth there.
Yeah, Paul's really, I mean, all jokes aside, Paul's a fucking powerhouse. And he, you know, he's a pro, and he can set you know, in the mix just perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I just do my bullshit and he goes, all right. And then he just dials in his sound to where it just complements whatever bullshit I'm doing.
We just need to see more. Yeah, I agree. Please, Fergus, please tell us it's finally coming. I missed the pre-order. Yes, it's coming. We promise. And we will keep you posted on BRAP here. Josh and I will do it. We promise. Hey, Josh and Kevin, Thruko called, had to cancel last night, so this chat will help cheer me up. Sorry, cruel world got postponed for you and Rihanna. My question is, what drum pad have you been using for your setup? Oh, that's a question for me. I use the actual stock drum pads that came with the original Pearl SY1 Syndrome, believe it or not.
Is that a have you ever taken that guy apart?
Yeah, it's a speaker.
Wait, what?
Yeah, inside that drum is literally a speaker.
No.
Yes, it is. And so basically the trigger is being created by, I mean, Josh, you know better than I how that's happening. How is a speaker being the trigger?
I don't know. So
Weird.
okay, maybe it's well, this would be really interesting. No, how did I'm gonna look it up after.
Okay, look it up. You'll see that these pads are very bizarre. They're not just like
that's weird. And so is it are they velocity? Or is it note on note on?
No, I don't think they are.
Uh-huh. I'm curious on how it works.
Yeah. Let's look this up and we'll get back to you with that info.
We can make some pads, Kevin.
Yeah, no, we should make some pads for BRAP that people could specifically get for their drum kit.
I'm dead serious. You know, I'm more eager. I mean, not eager, but like I'm more comfortable like saying, let's do that than trying to source electronic components these days.
Yes. So yeah, let's do it then. Let's build some slick little pads that people can hook up with their BRAP and have in their drum kit.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about that Monday or Tuesday.
Melanie, Josh, what was going on with the black eyes? Well, I think give us a thumbs up if you need us all to rescue you from Paul.
You see my thumbs, Melanie?
Will there be an opportunity soon to get the leftover tour merch online? Yes. Yes, there will be. I will keep you guys posted. What about you guys? Is there going to be Let Into Gold merch available online?
That's a Paul question. I can only assume. I know that Paul, this is also a little uncharted territory for him, like being an opener band. And so I don't know that he really knew like how much merch should I get? Like what are,
Yeah.
So I know that there were some learning curves and struggle with that. But I would think that he's going to set something up. But I mean, it's Paul's
Keep us
band.
posted on that. Question for Josh: how did the MPC hold up on the touring live environment? Did it hold up? Would you say?
I have to say, I have nothing negative to say about the MPC.
Excellent.
So I struggle with Akai. So you can see our sample island, and I think that people were. Can you see that?
What are we seeing?
Can you see
That rack of yummies? Yeah, lots of Akai samplers. Yeah, and samplers.
People, I think, were either in Sonic Emu or Akai, and I was in Sonic Emu, and Paul was Akai, and I just don't gel with Akai stuff. I just don't like how their
architecture. Yeah.
Except for, and I've tried almost every damn one, and the MPCX finally was an instrument that I was like, this everything, like a musician had input on this and not just engineers.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I absolutely love it. It was one of the rare occasions I bought a piece of equipment new right when it came out. And I've had it ever since it came out, and I've used it a ton, not as much as I'd like to, but other than memory, it has been absolutely solid. I have nothing negative to say except for Akai, if you're listening, disk streaming, and quintuple the RAM, because RAM is cheap.
Yeah,
it's cheap.
Yeah, good point there. It's also great to control and compose your BRAP with your BRAP SY1.
Dude, I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's possibly one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I use it for mine basically.
Yeah, so you and I did, I forgot, like like a year ago or something, we did some you did something with your Akai, and I did something with my Akai and SY. I forgot about that. Let's do it again. We should do it.
Oh right, yeah, we did a little
as we start shipping.
Yeah.
We'll do a medley together.
Yo, Josh, any cool things coming up locally? I live in Portland.
Oh, well, swing by the shop.
Is there a Maleko shop that people can come by and shop at?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a shop. It's just it's basically just a nerd barn. People think that it's so funny when people like, oh man, I want to come visit, and there's a point where you see all the life drain out of them because they realize it's not like an Oompa Loompa factory. It's like it's really pretty boring. I mean, you've been here, Kevin. It's pretty it's pretty boring. But people think it's like this going to be this wonderful, like
store or something.
Not a store, but like something just interesting. In fact, it's actually just a warehouse and people soldering shit.
Well, it's a factory. I guess that's kind of interesting for people to see how stuff are made and stuff.
Yeah, but people are welcome here. I just ask that they give me an hour notice in case I'm not here or in the middle of something.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you? Like last time I was in Portland there for a brief minute, Soraya was driving me around to places like Control Voltage and like that. Where are you located around there?
People that know Portland, we're inner southeast. So our shop is southeast 14th and Morrison, and so any Portlander is going to know where that's at.
Okay, yeah.
It's about 10 minutes from Control Voltage, maybe 15, depending on traffic.
What are you going to do today? I know it's your son's birthday or something.
Yeah, so my son turned 18.
18. Wow. Paying rent
Yesterday.
as of today.
Yes, that's what. All right, you hear that, son? So he and a bunch of 11 little nerd friends, I'm going to take them bowling.
Oh, nice. That's a good birthday thing to do.
Yeah, so yesterday I took him to the arcade with a different group of friends. And I'm just incredibly proud of this kid. He's really, I know, and not to take Showtime up for this, but I am the luckiest human being to have such a wonderful
Oh, that's great.
son. I'm so proud of him. He's
Yeah.
really an exceptional
Happy
kid.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh,
We went to Cruel Worlds yesterday.
oh my! So
And,
I've been.
it was just shocking to see like Susie get just like canceled by, I think we saw like one flash of light over in the distance and they canceled it. But apparently they're redoing it again today. And so they're saying, okay, everybody come back.
So hold on. So I've been because of birthday extravaganza and like this morning, had breakfast with dad and anyway, whatever. I've been super busy. So I haven't really paid much attention to social media except for a little blip. And I pieced together that there was some lightning and a show was canceled and then, there's devastation. And the first thing I thought of, Kevin, was that Florida when
Right. Yeah.
and how, so now like how everybody felt and then to say the statement of like, well, there's lightning or whatever, but like, and so I remember people were going, oh well, it was just a little rain, and then the next day you remember the pictures of like completely underwater, like everything was. So like,
yeah. Fort Lauderdale was actually a real storm.
yeah,
That, I think they hadn't had rain that heavy in 25 years or something
yeah,
in that area. But the thing is, yesterday was kind of like not the same. It actually didn't amount to anything. So
right.
I think they felt bad, and today they rescheduled it. And
That's got to
it's
be
funny
rough.
that we made it like 2/3 the way through the Iggy Pop set.
Uh-huh.
Almost to Susie, and now they're rescheduling Iggy Pop again today. I mean, I thought that was weird because I think he basically almost finished his set, but I don't know if I could suffer through Iggy Pop again.
Yeah.
Brianna was like, I can't look at his stomach anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen him with take his shirt off lately, but oh
I've
my
never
God.
seen him. I don't think that dude owns his shirt.
I don't think he does. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to all you Iggy Pop fans. He was great. Everything I just like.
I couldn't
Yeah.
look away. It was a Necronomicon on his stomach.
The Necronomicon on his stomach, Rihanna says.
Book of the Dead.
What was really funny is that, it was like, everyone evacuate. And then I had realized at that point that I had too many cans of beer.
Oh shit.
Not too many, but almost too many. I cut myself off.
Uh-huh.
So if you saw me and I was stumbling or slurring my words, I apologize.
Oh my God.
Everybody was out there yesterday, though. I mean, like, God, I was running into like all these guys. Look at that. You got Nick Lene, you got A Perfect Circle, you got Crystal Method, all in, everybody was all there hanging all in one spot. It was quite a gathering yesterday.
I heard that the reason the show got canceled, and we touched on this earlier, was the Book of the Dead was opened.
What?
All right, that joke didn't land. Iggy's stomach, the Book of the Dead opened up. Evil was expelled, and the show was canceled.
Yeah, it could have been that too. Well, they rescheduled it quite quickly. Yeah. We all woke up this morning to this announcement. By the way, you gave me this on the road.
Oh yeah.
A Leico pedal.
Yeah. Did you play it?
Polyamorator.
A polyamerator.
Polyamorator. What is it? What the hell is it?
You haven't played with it yet?
I haven't, because I just
lose your shit when you play with that.
It looks nice too.
Yeah, it smells good.
Where's my fancy effect here? Doesn't even allow.
Great. It disappears.
Yeah. It's a arpeggio, you said.
So yeah, think of it as an arpeggiator. So we'll just pretend that you play a stringed instrument. Although, oh no, screw that. You hit a key, and that's going to be, we'll call that your root. And then the top 3 pots are pitch. So in semitones, an octave up to an octave down, and it will scan them. So it'll make 4 sounds, or 3 extra ones. And then you can kind of recycle it. And there's like a span. So think of it like a delay. So it'll either go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. And it'll actually go down to a pitch to where each one of those pots will, like, you can create a chord.
Yeah.
And then you can feed back onto that, making complete chaos.
Nice. I am gonna try it almost immediately.
I think that on an SY, like hit a drum pad, and I think you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like pedals that I can't expect what sound will come out of it. So this sounds very fun.
You're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. So are you thinking that Rihanna and I should venture our way back to go see Susie? I think it might be worth it to go see Susie.
When are you gonna see Susie again? I would do it. When's the show go on?
It's 8 p.m. tonight.
Uh-huh.
But Gary Newman's playing again, and Iggy Pop's playing again. It all starts at 5 p.m.
But did you tell him that the forecast shows that it's worse weather today?
No,
the forecast shows that it could lightning again, and it's worse than yesterday. So the nightmare is that we'll go there and it'll get shut down again.
And it's supposed
that
to
would be terrible.
Exactly at 9 p.m. when she
We'll
goes
keep
on.
you all posted on this.
Here is, now, Kevin, I don't ask a lot from you. We're friends. I am going to ask one favor of you.
Okay.
If you go, and I'm asking this from you, madame, I need you both to draw a picture of Iggy Pop's stomach and send it to me.
How's about we try and snap the most creative photo?
No. It has to be hand drawn.
So his nipples look like eyes, his stomach, like his belly button, looked like a nose, and then this bottom flap looked like a mouth. So it looked like his stomach was singing. It was like traumatizing.
Paul started making me wear a shirt at the Lead and the Gold shows. So,
My God.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep you posted on this. I'm sure that you'll hear from just not just us. You'll hear from other people.
I hope it doesn't get canceled. I'd be bummed for everyone.
Can you imagine?
Go. I don't want to think about that. That's just bumming me out.
Oh, you did get a sunburn yesterday.
What a stupid sunburn that was.
Wow. She got a sunburn from yesterday. We thought we should wear some sunscreen and stuff, but since in our neighborhood. But Letitia, we do have a copy of the pic of you and Mike and Max, and I will post that for you. And thank you for that opportunity there. That was very fun to see you guys on Soulfly backstage at the Las Vegas festival. Lots of you came up to me yesterday and thanked me for the festival in Vegas. I want to thank you. Sorry if I seemed a little bit drunk.
A little bit coroned?
A little bit. Well, it was Modelo again. No, it was Tecate yesterday.
Tecate?
Yeah. Yes. Scully, you're going to go see Love and Roxy. We saw him last night. They were great. I saw him. Yeah, Soraya came down and we hit the festival together. Yes, he is still driving cab. I believe he's back in Portland today, but he is going to be opening for Love and Rockets, I believe, this coming next weekend or this week.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Awesome. Well, make sure you check in with Soraya's set, because that guy, pretty exciting stuff he's doing too. His costume and all that shit is always so good.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Josh, I know that your son's birthday, and I promised that I wouldn't keep this long today for you. So I would like to thank you, my friend, for coming and joining us here and giving us a nice update on BRAP as well as on Lead into Gold. And also, I want to give you a virtual hug here and say I can't wait until we get to see each other again soon, and let's do it.
All right. I love you a bunch.
Love
Thanks
you,
for having
brother.
me.
Thank you all for your support on Patreon, and thank you for tuning in once again on Sunday Live Chat. We'll see you all again soon. Have a good Sunday, Josh.